I guess you love movies. I do too. Hi guys, and welcome back to another movie review. And today I'm going to be talking about Widows, directed by Steve McQueen, starring Viola Davis, Michelle Rodriguez, Liam Neeson, John Bernthal, Robert Duvall, Colin Farrell. A million people is in this movie. It's a massive ensemble cast. I am a massive fan of a lot of these actors, and specifically Steve McQueen as a director. This guy's made some of the best films of recent years, specifically 12 Years a Slave, I own on Blu-ray, which I think is a masterpiece and one of the best films made in the last decade. So going into this movie, I had high expectations. I'm a massive fan of this director. He has not disappointed me so far, and he hasn't disappointed me with this film either, because it's very, very good. It isn't perfect, but I'll get into a few reasons why later on in this review. So what is Widows about? Well, it is about four women who, in the aftermath of their criminal husbands' deaths, are indebted to some very, very bad people, some very violent people, and they want their money. And Viola Davis's character has left the plans for her husband's next job. And the four widows have to try and plan to pull off this job in order to pay off their debts. So, what did I think of Widows? Well, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was very good, and some of the biggest pluses for this film are the performances. This ensemble cast is exceptional. It does a lot of different things, this film, okay? It gives you very intimate moments with certain characters, specifically Viola Davis, Michelle Rodriguez, and it also gives you sort of more bigger political themes, specifically with the likes of Robert Duvall and Colin Farrell in this film. Viola Davis has a lot of backstory about her son and about her husband, and about a lot of that the emotional stuff in that section. Michelle Rodriguez has one of the best scenes in the entire film, and you may find it very odd at first, but the more you think about it, the more affecting it is. There's this brilliant scene where she goes to this architect to try and work out the dimensions of this room that is part of the plan that Liam Neeson, Viola Davis' husband, set up. And she goes to this house, and she asks him a few questions, and it leads to her realising something about him. Well, it leads her to realising that he's also lost his wife, and it leads to an incredibly emotional scene in which she kind of questions what she's doing, and questions the validity of this way of getting this money. It's a very powerful sequence. It may seem odd at the time, but it's very, very, very important for this character. And there are moments like that that are exceptional. But you have Robert Duvall and Colin Farrell, these two politicians in this area of this sort of deprived area of Chicago, and how they act in public and how they are completely different in private. How they liberate minorities but condemn them in their own house. And this is a very interesting statement on the two-sided coin of politics, and how you can say something completely different in your home to what you can say in front of the cameras. And one of the best performances in this entire film is from Daniel Kaluuya, who obviously has been in Get Out and in Black Panther more recently. And he plays one of the people that's running against Colin Farrell in this area in the 18th ward, and he's like the muscle of his brother, who are going after Viola Davis for the money, and his character is terrifying. There's a brilliant scene early on with these two guys that are rapping in front of him, and it's an absolutely amazing scene. It is terrifying, and he is fantastic in this film. He's one of the standouts alongside Viola Davis. This is very well constructed. There's some great suspenseful sequences. The heist scene is very good. The build-up is very interesting. There's certain things that they do in the build-up to this heist that you don't think about in a lot of heist films, but they do this really well, and I really enjoyed a lot of the build-up and a lot of the character development going forward in this movie. However, there are issues with this film. How good the ensemble cast is, the direction, and a lot of the suspense. I think that there are moments that are cut short. I feel like the ending specifically feels abrupt, and certain things aren't tied up. Certain plot points aren't completely tied up in this story. And there are parts of the movie where they talk about backstory. I talked about Viola Davis's backstory. It's emotional, but the problem is they don't give you enough basis for that emotion, right? So you hear about what happens. It's to do with her husband and her son, and it doesn't really. There's a plot development. I can't go into because of spoilers. It doesn't really go into that too much. It's shown and then it's not really explained. And there are moments like that that could have done with a little bit more explaining. And it's difficult to do that in a movie where it doesn't end up being exposition heavy, but there are certain things that feel a tiny bit rushed, and the ending is definitely one of those. And that's unfortunate because this movie is very, very good. But it does have a few structural issues and storytelling problems. Certain things aren't tied up. But I did really enjoy Widows. I thought it was a very, very good movie with a great performance from everyone in this movie. The ensemble cast is exceptional. It's very well directed, once again, by Steve McQueen. There are a few problems structurally, but I really enjoyed it overall, and I'm going to give Widows 8 out of 10. So there you go. There's my review of Widows. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, drop your comments down in the section below. What did you think of Widows? What's your favourite Steve McQueen movie? And if you did enjoy this, hopefully I'll see you next time. Goodbye.